Sergio go on vacation?
He went to a conference. He went to a conference. I thought things would quiet down first week of May.
That's like I got my summer cut. I didn't have time to let it grow back out. Short vacation.
Playoff period when they lose 3 games.
See, I go to the two guard. It's looking grim for the Celtics. They can't guard.
That's true.
Well, I have been since about 1972. Since I read Bob Cousy's biography. They can't guard Giannis. I mean, who can? I have 6'10", runs like a deer, jumps like an ass. Yeah. I kept telling my wife, oh, he walks every time he touches it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he walks or not.
It's like he's James Harden being Arthur Murray out there, step.
Whether he walks or not, if they can't guard it, it doesn't matter. They're not going to call it. I think Tatum has gone.
Yeah, what happened? What happened to him?
He's done. He's been a poor kid.
I don't understand this.
I mean, it's so bad, it's like point shaving. It's like, you cannot, as a professional in the association, be that bad right now.
Compared to how he was last year, I thought he was.
Yeah, it's
First ballot
weird.
Hall of Famer.
It's weird.
Is it Kyrie?
No, I mean, he just can't get up and shine.
I mean, it's Steve Sachs. I can't throw the ball first. He's gotta go.
That's not good for a second baseman.
And then Knobloch had the same problem.
Yeah.
And Knobloch dealt with the same problem when he got to New York.
Yep.
Who was it? There was a catcher who couldn't throw it back to the pitcher.
God,
I
who was it?
can't remember his name. Yeah, it's bad when you alligator
Really
arm.
great, Joyce. How are you?
You know, 40 feet away. You're like, this is
Was it Steve Blass? Couldn't pitch anymore? Just to have hair. Has one hopper back and throw the ball.
Yeah, I remember him. Man, he was good. Pirates. That was almost pre-lumber company.
Mhm. Yep. Those are great ones. Hey, Cobra.
I don't even know Cobra was on that team. For the early 70s.
Came in like,
Yeah, Cobra would come later.
He was later. That was, Willie Stargell and Roberto Clemente.
Right.
Don't kick my knob.
Don't worry, I will not.
I went to we went out to California, and we went to a giant Pirates game. Manny Sandiego did a 2-run home run. I was marking something on my scorebook. I looked up, he hit one straight at me. I was like, fumbling.
Parker debuted for the Pirates in '73.
Is that when he came along?
10 seasons he played for them. I didn't realize it was that long either. I remember when he played for the
You
A's.
said you made copies of the award
The
submissions?
The A's with McGuire and Seiko.
And they had that Reds period in between.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll send something to you and ask you to make copies of those awards.
The Pirates had those
Mhm, thank
crazy,
Mhm.
black hats.
Right. Like Oregon Counties.
And so when I was in high school, that's what kind of hats we had, because we were black and yellow. And I hated those hats.
Stovepipes.
I hated those things.
I did so, man.
I was not a Pirates fan.
Phil to
I know, right?
pass the send that shit to. Like,
You know, James Blaine. Chairman there, nice to hear you say that.
And he was already on that side.
This is just a.
That gets dialed in.
It's like with Jim Boone, it's like days of through and set up a table in the bullpen, like have a mile and mile, and say it.
You ever read that, ball?
Oh, yeah.
That's a great book.
Little animated show. I'll send it. What's your email?
S. Stockard at Daily.
I was trying to think of No, I'm trying to deal with 11 o'clock live chat, 11:05 live chat, internet 15. And people were trying to set it up, didn't set it up. So that calls me, but yeah, it's daily.
Well, this says,
Just little things, I need my phone, my email, all this kind of stuff.
You might think that by 9:45 or 9:30 things would cool off.
We start going earlier, there are times we leave an hour in front from where we are, 3 miles away, coming down Murfreesboro Road to go and to set up for a live shot, and it's still tight. And I can remember doing 15 minutes, not that long ago. That was with a truck. But
They're gonna have to,
those are just teething issues.
they're gonna have to
oh,
buy
okay, so
down,
this is our
they're gonna have to buy
to right there.
30 yards of right of way on either side of Murfreesboro Road.
Well, that's getting.
I just needed for those two states, I told you.
Just do what's down here, like,
Research.
just build it up. What she said. Double decker interstates. Can you imagine how long that would take?
How long? How expensive? How disruptive?
Well,
All you gotta do is go to Phoenix, and they had the same problem 20 years ago. I turned them from a pretty solid from a Democrat, made a local election.
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Serios on vacation.
Atlanta's got one, it's, I wouldn't call it a double decker, but it comes from Smyrna,
You see the chair?
Marietta, Smyrna, way up there, comes down the interstate.
I appreciate that. I need somebody to watch my back.
Looks like it's in the route. Ballpark, so we're gonna have some.
Everything. Well, she loves school. Well, she just enjoyed summer and she worked.
Andy, where's there?
Where's
Shells at the
video portion?
game. Separate person, you got separate person. Running errands.
How's the new digs?
Nice, got a few windows.
You're at 1801?
Yeah.
Before you, before you on.
18.
Oh, you're
17.
Palmer building.
Yeah, Palmer building.
17.
17.
How tall is that building?
70, 16, and
You'll be
50.
doing stories about that hole
It's like,
around.
18, I think.
Soon at the top.
Yeah, 17.
Nice.
I got a view of West End, a little bit of downtown.
See the hole?
Yeah, you see the
Oh,
picture? The old Intercontinental hole.
Yeah.
How he can't make a deal and have it in this environment remains one of Nashville's great mysteries. Say what?
I'll talk, I guess.
Buildings going along around it. You should be waiting for them.
So they moved, they had something going on. There's a crane.
Oh,
Crane in the.
till I see things rising, till I
Look at
don't see the
attention
water in
with it.
there anymore.
I can tell you, there's no water in there anymore. They cleared it out. I can see,
Excellent,
I can see,
excellent
I can see,
reporting.
I can see down from my office. From my
Well.
window.
Yes, yes, yes.
The West End pools.
Yeah, the pool, the lake is gone. They're actually moving dirt and doing work.
Yeah, gotta be careful being seduced by the windows, that's how they got us in here.
Those are the windows.
Be careful with it.
Hummus was the black soot that would come down from the vents every morning and land on my desk. Perfect for fingerprints.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Session follow-ups done.
I know.
Last Thursday.
Those quotes and sound bites are starting to get real stale.
They're gonna get very stale. They're almost to the point where it's like,
Script.
it's like last year's bad cereal.
Well,
Errands to run.
I mean, by the time,
it was stale to begin with,
it really was.
and I figured that we'll just add those milk and sugar at some point.
Well, I mean, hell,
I got a feeling this will
we've got a,
occupy the rest of it.
this is,
That would be logical, but, you know, we live in Tennessee, like in Florida.
Good morning, all, and my apologies for the tardiness. Everything is fluid at this moment. We want to make sure that we were up to date on information so that everything we showed or shared with you would be current. I'm G.A. Hardaway, State Representative out of Memphis, Shelby County. I chair the Tennessee Black Caucus of State Legislators. I'm going to ask my colleagues to introduce themselves, and then we'll begin the meat of the press conference.
Good morning. I'm Brenda Gilmore, Senator Brenda Gilmore, District 19.
Good morning. I'm Vincent Dixie, State Representative for District 54, Davidson County.
Mary Mancini, Chair of the Tennessee Democratic Party.
All right, we'll begin. For those who may have missed our press release, we'll do a quick read on that, and then we'll go to Senator Gilmore, and then we'll go to Senator Dixie, and after that, we'll take Q&A. The Tennessee Black Caucus wants TBI investigation of Chief of Staff. The recent ethical and criminal allegations against Tennessee House Speaker Glen Casada's Chief of Staff, Cade Cothren, are serious and disturbing. Local media reports say that Cothren used racially derogatory language and images and also falsified evidence in a judicial proceeding to obtain the incarceration of a civil rights activist, a young civil rights activist, Justin Jones. While every American is entitled to due process, Speaker Casada must act transparently and expeditiously in finding the truth regarding the veracity of these serious allegations. Although the Tennessee General Assembly session for 2019 has concluded, Speaker Casada's office must not delay the pursuit of justice and must quickly resolve these troubling civil rights violations and disturbing criminal allegations. We call on Speaker Casada to address the concerns of all Tennesseans for transparency and to state the process that he intends to use to determine if these allegations are true. The citizens of the great state of Tennessee deserve servant leaders that believe in the rule of law and respect every Tennessean's constitutional and civil rights. Speaker Casada must take swift, strong, and decisive action now on behalf of our mutual constituencies. We all took an oath to fulfill our constitutional duties to the citizens of the great state of Tennessee, and only our very best efforts will be acceptable. Tennessee Black Caucus of State Legislators believes that it is necessary and proper for the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations to be brought in as a neutral investigatory party. For the sake of transparency, fairness, and justice, and to ensure a complete and thorough investigation, the Tennessee Black Caucus of State Legislators formally requests that Speaker Casada, Speaker of the House of Tennessee House of Representatives, join our call for an independent investigation by the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation.
Good morning again, Senator Brenda Gilmore. The past few days have been difficult and trying for many Tennesseans, in particular African Americans, other minorities, and especially women. Cade Cothren, the chief advisor and gatekeeper to one of the most powerful elected officials in the state of Tennessee, engaged in racist acts and possibly criminal behavior. We have come to learn that Cade's bigotry extended to using sexist images and statements against women. Cade's explanation for his conduct is informative of why we fight so hard for equality and civil rights at Capitol Hill. Cade said, like so many young men, egotistical in politics, moving up the career ladder, facing stress, peer pressure, and high expectations, that he faltered and made mistakes. Stress, peer pressure, and expectations are a poor excuse for using the N-word and for making jokes of blacks and women. In the back of our minds, we often wonder why there's been such resistance to matters regarding racial equality and reconciliation and correcting the past, such as the removal of Nathan Bedford Forrest to the museum and the respect for women in this capital. There's been a misguided celebration of the past, and mean-spirited mentality that made many of the past injustices possible in the first place. Tennesseans deserve that there be no doubt that their blackness is not a target for discrimination or the object for ridicule by the powerful at state capitol. In the coming weeks, I ask and I pray that the leadership of the General Assembly, especially House Speaker Casada and Governor Lee, engage the Tennessee Black Caucus in meaningful discussion regarding civil rights, fairness, and progress. Let's start by taking down Nathan Bedford Forrest, respecting women, respecting African Americans, and giving Justin Jones the same second chance that Cade Cothren was given. The terrible legacy of the past is already written. Today, let's start a new chapter of Tennessee history that is embracing for all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. My name is State Representative Vincent Dixie. Most of the time when you see me coming around, I always have a smile on my face. But today, I don't have an occasion to smile. This is serious. This is serious business. I thought about preparing some written statements, but then I thought about it. And I said, you know what? You need to get the raw, emotional response that you deserve, that we deserve. This has been outrage. This has been outrage. The behavior that we've seen Cade exhibit has been unexplainable. Until this moment, I don't think that we have received an apology for it. We have not received an apology. He wants to be excused for his behavior by saying, oh, I'm sorry, I was young and dumb. Well, that's not good enough. And we're going to keep pushing until we get what we need. I appreciate that he has been removed and he's resigned, but that's just the beginning of it. And I want to make a point here that last week when the news broke about the racial epithets, it was a good story, but nothing happened. Nothing was going to happen. But when the text messages came out about objectifying white women and the drug use, all arms went up. Cade has to go now. So we have to use this opportunity to talk about race and white privilege. Now, I want to say one thing. I look at myself as a successful young black person, young black man. I'm an elected official, run a business, have a nice family. But I don't know of any white man that would change places with me because of white privilege. And I want people to understand that it's a real issue and we have to address it. The removal of the bus, that's one thing. That's nice. That's a good first step because that's a painful reminder of people of G.A. Hardaway and Barbara Cooper and Joe Towns, Senator Gilmore, that way that they grew up was a lot different than the way that I grew up. And that's a painful reminder every day that they have to walk by that. So we have to move that. There's a proper place for it. I'm not saying it was part of our history, so it has to be included in our history, and it needs to be put in its proper place, which is the Tennessee Museum. The second thing that I would like to say is that we have to call on Governor Lee to take action. We have to. He campaigned on Christian values, family morals, and all of the things that a good Christian would do. Now, the behavior of his the chief of staff and the Speaker of the House does not reflect those, and we need him to take action. Going forward, knowing how that Glen Casada and Cade Cothren feels about African Americans, it would be definitely difficult to continue to come in here and have a good working environment, to follow him under his leadership. It would be definitely hard. We need to make some changes. We need changes at the top. We need somebody that's going to be elected for all. When we got elected to these positions, yes, we represent our district, but at the end of the day, our job is to make Tennessee better. And I don't believe that any of the people right now in the leadership, as far as Glen Casada, is in a position to make Tennessee better for all people. and we need to continue to fight. So I'm asking a couple things. One is Bill Lee, he must step in and he must make an opinion. We need to hear his voice on this. We have to hear his voice. Glen Casada needs to be removed from office. Point blank. And we also must find justice for Justin Jones as well. I don't want anything to get lost in the concept of everything that's going on now. But let's remember what was going on a week ago, and we haven't touched on it. None of those issues were a big deal until yesterday when the new information came out. So I want the same outrage that you have right now about this to have the same outrage about what happened last week and the racial epithets, because that is when people should have been up in arms at that point. So thank you for your time, and I'm going to let Representative G.A. Hardaway speak.
All right, we'll entertain questions now.
I want to be clear, is the call for Glen Casada to be removed, is that the position of the caucus, the Black Caucus as a whole, or is it just one member's position?
The Tennessee Black Caucus has not come to a conclusion on whether we want a new speaker or not. We expect to have that discussion today and tomorrow, and we'll certainly be entertaining the position, the reasoning, the rationale that Representative Dixie brings. We're looking forward to entertaining the idea, but no, we have not taken a caucus position on Glen Casada's status one way or the other at this time.
How do either of you feel it individually? You agree with Representative Dixie?
I have no individual feelings in my position as chairman.
I think minimally we are due, yes. I think minimally blacks in this state and women in this state is due an apology. There's not been an apology of using the N-word toward black people. There's not been an apology of how women were portrayed in those text messages. I think minimally the governor, Speaker Casada, and certainly Cade Cothren should apologize for those words.
And Representative Dixie, just to clarify, were you calling for Speaker Casada to be removed from leadership or from his district seat as well?
Leadership. I don't believe, and I don't want to step on any toes here. I don't want to I don't want to step on any toes by memorializing what Senator Gilmore or Representative Hardaway is saying. These are my personal feelings. An apology is not enough. I don't want to hear I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I want measured steps. I want action taken. I don't want any more words. None. And that's my feeling on that.
This is the third time we've seen Casada back someone accused of sexual misconduct. There was Byrd, Durham, now Cothren. Is this a pattern here? Is it a problematic pattern?
I believe that he has created an environment for this to thrive. Mm-hmm. He has made it okay and acceptable for this behavior to continue and be swept under the rug. Well, I'm here today to say we can't sweep it under the rug anymore. You swept away the text message with the N-word and the racial epithets. It's not going to happen again today. I've been waiting on this moment to be able to express my feelings about how I truly feel about this. I'm tired. I'm tired of this. We're in 2019 and we're still dealing with issues that they had in the early 1900s. Why? Why are we still dealing with that? I'm tired of it.
Representative Dixie, you mentioned that you couldn't go on under the leadership of Glen Casada because you feel that he is a racist. If he isn't removed from his position, what are you going to do? Well,
I didn't say he was a racist, but I think it would be difficult in order for any of us. It doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican. This is a human issue. So this is a bipartisan issue. So this is about human rights. This is about treating our fellow man or woman as equal. I don't think that given the environment, the atmosphere that he has created, that could possibly go on for the next 2 years under his leadership and really feel like we're doing the best job we can to represent the Tennesseans. So
To clarify, you said knowing how Glen Casada and Cothren feel about African Americans. So can you explain what you meant by how you think the speaker feels about African Americans?
from those comments,
From what you said.
yeah, no, I'm saying from the comments that I read from Cade, and the silence of Glen Casada makes him complicit in my mind, because he was on those, to my understanding, he was on those text threads. So he condoned this, as he would say, locker room talk. So yes, I do believe that he doesn't look at African Americans as an equal. I think he looked at us less than. I am, but I'm speaking for myself. But at this moment, because I don't think we've had a time, because the developments happen so quickly, we have not had a time to meet as a caucus. And but I'm sure Representative Hardaway will make sure that that happens very quickly.
I want to follow up real quick on those messages, and all of you can comment on this. I was just wondering, last week when we wrote the story on the text messages, Speaker Casada came out hard, saying that the messages were fabricated. I'm wondering, now that we know what's happened, I'm wondering what you think about that. About him, he was very strong about that. These were obviously fabricated text messages.
Well, and I wanted to go back to also the use of the N word in women. So it's not just that it's been offensive to black people and to minorities, but it's also been offensive to women. And I agree with Representative Vincent Dixie. That's the culture in the state capitol, and it has to end, because it starts at the top and it filters all the way down. So I'm offended because as a black woman, that again, last week we found out that the N-word was used. There was absolutely no remorse shown, no I'm sorry, that could not have happened. And then this week we see how women have been portrayed in the media.
On the question of the culture, I mean, last month another lawmaker, member of the Black Caucus, was accused of some inappropriate behavior. I mean, why would changing the speaker solve that? What needs to happen to really change the culture towards women at the Capitol?
Okay, well, I have not called for the removal of the speaker this time. I'm just saying that I'm offended that the N-word is used so casually and that there's been no response. And I'm offended that women are portrayed in such a negative manner.
Fair enough, but what would it take to change the culture at the Capitol towards women? I mean, is it enough to change leadership, to change, I understand you're not calling for that yourself, but I mean, it's not.
Well, again, I would just say at minimally, if the speaker of the House had come out last week and said that I'm sorry that these words were used and made a genuine apology, I think that would have been a good first step. Certainly not the end, but that would have been a good first step.
What about Representative Dixie? You talked
Well,
about
let me do this. Let me address that question on a couple of more points from the caucus position, then we'll come to you, ma'am. What will it take to change? Let's figure out where we are first. Sexism and racism are kinfolk. They're sister and brother. They come from the same parents. Ignorance and arrogance. So those women and those people of color who have had to work in this hostile environment on Capitol Hill deserve relief. Our job as the Tennessee Black Caucus of State Legislators is to provide that leadership so that that deep state of racism and sexism is eliminated. We won't tolerate it. We will gather the facts on our own. We've also requested the TBI to come in with their independence. That's why they exist, is to investigate issues specifically about government officials. We believe that there are a lot of facts out there that may uncover even more issues. There's some strange goings on when you have women, 20+ women, for instance, during the Jeremy Durham campaign, failed to file any type of formal complaint once we had set up a new system designed for them to do so. We don't have the confidence in the current system and we don't have the confidence in those who execute the current process for addressing the racism and the sexism that occurs here on Capitol Hill. The Black Caucus is looking forward to having a face-to-face meeting with Speaker Casada. There are questions that we have that we want answers direct from Speaker Casada. We don't want to see them filtered through third parties, the media, etc. So the Black Caucus is not finished. We're just getting started. We have work to do, gathering the facts. We will make an evaluation, reach a decision on what our recommendation is, so that the freedom that white men of privilege, white men with power and money enjoy on Capitol Hill is available to women, available to black folk, whether they work here, whether they're legislators, whether they're visitors, whether they're interns, whether they're lobbyists. They deserve the respect and dignity as all Tennesseans do. So our job is not complete. We are just getting started, and we will not rest until we have changed the culture that exists here on Capitol Hill. This isn't the first year. Casada, Cade, those who are involved in this incident, they're not the first ones. So we want to change that deep state of bigotry, that deep state of misogynism that exists up here on Capitol Hill. That's where the Black Caucus is going, and we won't stop until we get there.
What do you think about his?
Well,
about
ma'am.
You talked about Glen Casada being removed from office, but I think there's a feeling among people that, there's no way to do that short of him stepping down, that nobody's making the rules for the lawmakers. So is there a process for that, and what would that look like?
All right, what I'm going to ask, with the indulgence of Representative Dixie, is that we don't consume the press conference with actions that the Black Caucus hasn't recommended yet. Okay? We will have a response to that. It won't be long. Black Caucus will conference on that. We will caucus on that issue, and we'll have a caucus position for it. I don't think it's fair to keep Representative Dixie on the spot like that.
Channel 5's question about the evidence being fabricated. Do you have any response to that?
What's the question?
Well, in terms of the evidence with the email, originally the email that was sent to the DA's office, and how the speaker has now given us 4 different answers on what happened in the email. It says not the issues, other things like that. I'm just wondering what's your response to the issues with the email potentially being fabricated, not fabricated.
Well, there are a lot of things that are particular to the way that the emails were created. The email being the screenshot, how it was created. I have concerns that the screenshot of the email, even if we accept the explanation from LIS, the screenshot of the email truncated the email so that the only date showing was the false date. I have an issue with that. I don't accept the explanation that comes with how the emails are delivered to us, and everyone's ignorant, so ignorant that we can't look and see 2 different dates and be able to tell the difference in received versus sent. We're all intelligent people. The explanation is insufficient, which is one of the reasons that we reiterate. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigations, their job is to discover the type of discrepancies that we're discovering and discussing now on how false emails, how false evidence is created, and the means by which it was presented to the DA's office, and the circumstances under which the DA accepted such, instead of saying, hey, I need the real email. I need the best evidence before I put forth a motion to take a man's freedom. It's unacceptable. There are several issues that need to be addressed here in terms of the civil rights, in terms of the criminal action with the email. And LIS can't do that. They don't have the jurisdiction to do that. So we'll state again that the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations needs to be involved yesterday and determine what the facts are, if and when laws were broken, who broke those laws.
That's rather than a special prosecutor, it sounds like.
Outside of the special prosecutor, TBI needs to conduct an independent investigation of all of these matters related to that email. I don't know the directives and guidance that the special prosecutor will operate under, whether he or she will respond to the DA's conference, respond to the sitting DA. I don't know this, but I know the only way to have an investigation that yields results that are acceptable is for there to be an independent investigation by the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations. TBI must get engaged. Now, we have options. We have options if TBI is not engaged. There are other government agencies which will and are charged with protecting our civil rights here in America.
May I say something about women also? I don't want the women to be overlooked. I think that this also should be a cause not just of the Tennessee Black Caucus of state legislators, but that our Republican colleagues should speak out. I think that their silence sends a message that they do not value women, and especially when Cade Cothren, I feel like, put himself on interns, inviting them to have sex with him and having oral sex with him is totally inappropriate, and that our Republican colleagues need to speak out.
So you've heard from no Republicans on this?
I've not seen any media accounts.
Real quick, I just want to make just for the record.
Let me say this right quick. We have Republican colleagues who share our views, but they are not willing at this point to be heard publicly. Hopefully that will change. But yes, this isn't merely a black issue or a women's issue or a Democratic issue or a Republican issue. This is about human rights. This is about the dignity that every individual has the right to expect and deserves when they come to Capitol Hill. Yes, sir.
Just for the record, to make sure the record's straight. The story we did last Thursday, the racist text messages. There was one that was sent that Casada was a part of with the black, where it had like a meme of Samuel Jackson or whatever. He was a part of that text message. We have no evidence that Casada was actually part of the other two that had the N-word and said derogatory things to black people. Just want to make sure you understand, because I think somebody was saying all the messages, and we have no evidence that he was part of the other two.
Well, whether it's one or whether there's three, I don't think it negates. Yes.
Do you draw a line?
And silence is complicity.
Do you draw a line between those sentiments and some of the legislation that we've seen passed in this session?
Well, I think it's clear that for the head to do the right thing, the heart must be in the right place. The heart cannot be in the right place if it's filled with that kind of darkness that comes with bigotry and with racism and with sexism. So the answer is yes. We have had legislation, we have had public policy which has been established based upon personal prejudices.
Senator Gilmore, earlier you were saying that, if I understood you correctly, that Governor Lee is among those who should apologize. What does Governor Lee have to apologize for?
I don't think I said he should apologize, but I was calling up on him to meet with the Tennessee Black Caucus and let us start talking and having a discussion on how we can make Tennessee a more welcoming place for all, including women and African Americans. And we've not seen evidence that there's a temperature or there's an environment or there's a willingness, because of the governor's silence and also because of Speaker Casada's silence regarding how women are treated and the use, again, of the N-word toward African Americans.
Representative Hardaway, you mentioned a second ago that you know some of your Republican colleagues do hold the same views you all have on this, but they're unwilling to speak out about it. Can you elaborate on why you think they're unwilling to speak out about something like this right now?
I think it's about the matter of whether you place your duties and responsibilities to the people above your ambition. And some of you have heard me say it before, but raw, naked ambition makes moral cowards of us all. And I invite those individuals to come forward. We've spoken in confidence, so I'm not going to break that confidence. But hopefully, they might be able to work from inside to effect change on the other side. And we'll see policies, which, as Senator Gilmore stated, would be more welcoming in terms of those who are different from white, privileged males in Tennessee.
Are you under the impression that they fear some kind of retribution from the Speaker's office for speaking out on this? Or what is that political cost for them?
Absolutely. I think that they fear retribution in terms of politics on Capitol Hill and in terms of politics from the state Republican Party, which I'm curious as to whether any of you have pursued comments from the leadership for the state Republican Party. If not, I would invite you to do so. These are issues which are impacting all Tennesseans, whether Republican or Democrat, black or white, rich or poor. The lobbyists who were propositioned, the interns, the legislators, the employees, they come in all colors and socioeconomic levels. We need everyone on board. In times when you're pursuing justice, being neutral is not an option.
I was just going to say, we did actually have Representative Lambert, Majority Leader, in a story on Thursday, he did say that this is at the time we were asking him, that he said if it's true that he sent those text messages, that there's no place on Capitol Hill for anybody to have those disparaging remarks. So Representative Lambert has, at least for us, did come out and say that.
Thank you.
Well, and we appreciate Leader Lambert on that, and we invite him to do more.
You know, the locker room comment kind of echoes what President Trump said during his campaign, back in 2016 or whatever. I mean, what are your thoughts on sort of that sentiment, given that it's been used before by the president?
Well, I'll give you the response that myself and the black men and the white men that I know gave at the time. And that is that we have been in locker rooms. The type of language and the type of actions that is illegal, sexual assault, rape, that were discussed by President Trump, and the type of forced sexual involvement which comes with the authority and the power of those who are in authority to exact the type of economic damage on women, the social damage on women if they don't cooperate. It's unacceptable. So I've been in plenty of locker rooms. I play most sports, and the guys that I'm in the locker room with don't talk like that. They don't talk like that because that's not their mindset. That's not their moral direction.
Are you concerned about Speaker Casada's relationship with the truth?
Well, We want to know everything, and we think that the truth has to come. Speaker Casada has to give us the facts. He's got to be straightforward about it. We still don't believe that we've gotten everything that we need in terms of the facts, in terms of the complete truth from Mr. Cothren. If you evaluate, the only truths that we have from Mr. Cothren are those that you forced. Okay? There are other matters which need our attention, which we don't know yet. So I will once again state that we need an independent investigation by TBI in order to have all of the facts that we need in order to shape a better, a welcoming, a safe environment on Capitol Hill for all people. But the public policies that are in place now reflect the culture that you and the rest of the media have uncovered, and it's unacceptable. We'll never make progress if we don't change the hearts of the same individuals who are making laws for the 6.5 million people in the great state of Tennessee.
You called Speaker Casada to also request or join your request for the TBI investigation, yet he could be a target of the investigation for all we know. I mean, how likely is it for him to make that, join that request if he could be, if they could be looking at his actions?
Well, we all have times when we have to make choices, professionally or politically, that might not be in line with what's best for us personally. I don't know whether that's the occasion for Speaker Casada right now or not, but I do know that when you take that oath of office and you promise to follow the Constitution of the United States of America and the great state of Tennessee, then I will hold you accountable the same way I hold myself accountable. I would hold Senator Gilmore accountable. I will hold Representative Dixon accountable. Our first obligation is the public welfare.
I believe, Mary, last night, did you call for Speaker Casada's resignation or as Speaker or to step down?
Just let me, yes, let me stop you there. I'm only here in support of the Black Caucus. I was graciously invited to step up and show my support. All I would say is that Tennessee Republican Party Chair Scott Golden should be in this room as well.
Okay.
Are there any other questions? Do my colleagues have any parting comments?
No. Good.
With that, we thank you for your attention and appreciate your patience.